I felt I had to make this to get my family's voice heard, and I feel like our civil rights have been violated. I am not sure what else to do but reach out. In 2019, my youngest daughter moved to Manchester, Kentucky from Newport, Kentucky with her 2 daughters to get her life back together. While in Manchester, she moved into a homeless shelter. The employees audio recorded her in the bathroom with her daughters and called CPS on her, stating that they had heard a smacking sound followed by one of my granddaughters crying. My youngest daughter's oldest daughter had always been prone to cold sores above her lip. My youngest daughter was being accused of burning my granddaughter around her mouth. CPS demanded her to take the girls to the hospital to be examined, and the report was the doctor said it was not a burn but a cold sore. While at the hospital, the CPS ordered my daughter to take a drug test, and unfortunately, she tested positive for methamphetamine, but she was coming clean. While this was going on, a CPS worker was calling Hope's family asking us if we knew about her drug use. Prior to her relocating to Manchester, she wasn't, and her girls were in the care of my oldest daughter until she was offered a place at the homeless shelter by a friend of her kid's father. During all this, I found a lawyer in Newport to talk with. He advised us that since my granddaughters had not yet been taken in CPS care, for Hope to write out a letter stating she gives custody to my oldest daughter. On the ride down to Manchester, the workers from the homeless shelter overheard my daughter on the phone, and since the worker was friends with the CPS supervisor, they called them. The CPS supervisor and another social worker showed up at the shelter, and Hope was told if your daughters leave the shelter, they will be taken away and you will never see them again. So my daughter called my other daughter and told her what happened. She was almost there and turned around. We did not know at the time my oldest daughter could have legally taken my granddaughters. My youngest daughter was ordered to court and to be drug tested weekly. My oldest daughter went to every court hearing. At the first one, she asked the judge why her nieces couldn't be placed with family, and the judge replied, "Do you want them?" and let us know he'd have to order a home study through Manchester CPS. Eventually, the girls were placed in a foster care in the home of the homeless shelter workers. The judge ordered CPS in Manchester to contact Ohio CPS because my oldest daughter lives in Ohio. It took a couple of months of constantly calling Manchester CPS, but finally they did send the request. Ohio CPS checked and did a home study on my oldest daughter and approved and even recommended my granddaughters be placed with her. The following court date, my oldest daughter arrived 10 minutes late. It was approximately 4.5-hour drive one way. She couldn't enter the courtroom and waited in the lobby for up to 2 hours before leaving. She contacted the social worker on the case in Manchester, and she was told the judge didn't even acknowledge the recommendation from Ohio CPS. My oldest daughter has the recommendation from Ohio CPS that was submitted to Manchester, Kentucky. The judge ordered my granddaughters to stay with the foster people again. My youngest daughter told the judge she wanted her daughters placed with her sister. Hope continued with CPS in Manchester, Kentucky. She developed what she believed a good, honest relationship with the foster people. They would give her money and at times let her see her daughters. Finally, the foster people told Hope to go on and get her life back together, and when you do, we will give the girls back to you. The foster people drove Hope back to Newport, Kentucky, and dropped her off. They had Hope sign a paper which Hope said was to get her oldest daughter in school. Hope had an IEP and was behind. She was an addict, and she struggled with reading. Not really understanding what she was signing, she apparently signed her rights away. My granddaughter's father was incarcerated in Newport, Kentucky jail. The courts mailed paperwork for him to terminate his rights. He was also an addict and struggled with understanding things. He can't really read and write well and signed the paper as well, with no legal counsel present. In a future court date, our lawyer found out that he was sent the paperwork and signed it, making little notes on the paperwork that wrote temporarily. He didn't understand what he was doing. At the next court date, my daughters and their lawyer went. The lawyer asked the public defender assigned to my youngest daughter about the paperwork being sent and not courier by any legal representation, and she just threw up her hands in the air and she said she had nothing to do with it. As time went on, the foster people allowed Hope to correspond with the girls less and less. The rest of our family were not allowed unless Hope was on video chat, but very limited. The last time we ever saw or talked to my granddaughters for Mother's Day of 2020. Soon afterwards, Hope found out she was expecting. At 18 weeks, she developed a blood infection, was placed in ICU, and lost her baby. She expired quickly, and she was murdered by drug-induced homicide October 2nd, 2021. We've since contacted the foster family and a court hearing was scheduled. The judge said that they were aware of Hope's passing. The judge told my oldest daughter he would contact the family himself because he sees them around here and there, and asked if we could have visitation. The judge didn't ask us to give an account of the last 18 months of our family's lives that prevented further action in the case, and we did. With COVID, my oldest having a baby, my youngest passing away, we were still in contact with the lawyer constantly regarding, and we were met with the judge saying we could try for visitation. The lawyer sends copies of a written letter to the judge accounting for the last 18 months. After about a week, we contacted our lawyer to see if he heard anything, and he tells us they had court without notifying him, and the foster people were granted custody of my granddaughters. Our family has never received visitation or anything. We've been to every court hearing, we've paid legal representation, and we feel like our civil rights have been violated as a family. Our lawyer is supposed to be working on that now. I honestly and prayerfully hope anyone can help our family. Our family is not the same without my granddaughters. It's all we have left of my youngest daughter. I ask that you please share this and let me know if anyone can help us. Thank you for your time and considering.